No, you can't see me. No, 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 no. I'm not here. Oh wait. I almost fell off my chair. Oh, it's okay. What do you mean? I've only done that joke once before. Okay, alright, alright. Anyway, good morning. Excuse me. Good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls. We come to that time of the day, week, time of the week. Yes. We're at that time of the week where we once again discuss something mildly philosophical, something about the nature of humans, all that good stuff. Such is life. No, no, and I'll remind. Excuse me. What? Oh no, my face is fine. I'll remind our viewers that these particular streams are technically public. So unlike the video games, the walking around that we do, the more silly type stuff, this is all public, which means that people technically are allowed. No, that people outside the community are able to see everything that we do here, right? So obviously, that kind of conversation, and I refer to that to let's see, let me just do a little bit of scrolling. Yes, our boy whose name ends in CA. That kind of conversation we need to hold on and do so in private. Anyway, so today, as sponsored by our Year 1 Class 2 corporation. Class 2? Class 1? Class 1 and Class 2, yes, again. We're going to talk about this human, very, very, very human characteristic of fear of the unknown. Because it is a thing, and it is simultaneously something that holds us back, and also something that is protective, right? If you believe and understand evolution like I do, then it makes perfect sense why, even in a modern society, why we continue to have this, right? And so let me just wipe my glasses and we can start. Yes, there we go. Okay. So there are really two components to this fear of the unknown. One is to drive inaction, and two is to reduce accidents, right? There is the other part of the fear of the unknown where it is the opposite of curiosity killed the cat, right? Obviously, a cat is curious enough that it provokes things to see how they work, and sometimes it provokes things in such a way that it then kills the cat because something fell on top of it, it broke something, etc., etc. And that's, I was going to say that's perfectly fine. Obviously, that's not fine, but it is part of what it is part of their species to do that, right? This is in opposition to curiosity killed the cat, right? And so to me personally, these things are very clear. There are a few reasons why we want to drive in action. One links to what we talked about last week, which is inactivity and the preservation of energy. I was going to say conservation of energy, but then some of our Year 1 Class 1 boys might get a little too cute. Anyway, So fear of the unknown. Well, actually, let's take a. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's the wrong button. There we go. Let's take a slightly different view of this. What am I doing? I am here putting in result. And we're gonna do that, and we're gonna have y, right? So, oh, I just saturated my microphone. Let me turn down the gain just a little bit. Okay. Anyway, so y, right? And that and it's to me it's very clear why. Let me turn down the gain just a little bit more. A little, no, that's too much. How about now? Okay, good. So why do we fear? Evolutionarily, there are a few reasons, right? Evolutionarily, let's say one, if there is a bush in a dark forest rattling, do we poke it to see what happens? And if I were to survey humanity with no context, right? If they didn't know that I was because obviously when you ask a question, if you're given context, a lot of the time that context can actually. No, we're okay. I think a lot of the time that context can actually bias the mind and bias the answer to the question, right? Because a lot of you guys, if I had asked you this question with no context, you would have responded with no. But now that we've spent however long, what is this, 5-7 minutes talking about this context, I am absolutely sure that some of you will have said yes. And you don't have to confirm or deny, even though some of you are doing so. You don't have to do it. But I know that you know. And now you know that I know. 1 second. Other. What 7:30. I know that you know, and now you know that I know, right? So, and this is important, and this is why when we do scientific studies, we have to do them oftentimes either at least single blind, ideally double blind, because that is the only way for our own actions to not interfere with a patient's response to the medication. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. Anyway, so evolutionarily, if there's a bush in a dark forest rattling, do we poke it to see what happens? Generally, the answer is no. That's not to say everyone answers no. Generally, no. Some people will, like there's this natural bravery going around, and that's reasonable. That's reasonable in that that is how evolution works, right? If dark forest rattling bushes are on average dangerous, then over a few generations, those who are brave or stupid enough to poke it will have died, right? And ideally, from a hunter-gatherer perspective, again, I'm saying all of this from a hunter-gatherer perspective. From a hunter-gatherer perspective, ideally they will have died because then they don't pass on the stupidity. Fuck. I can't talk this morning. They will pass on the stupidity to their descendants, and that would be terrible, right? If the dark forest, I can't even type, rattling bushes are on average beneficial, then over a few generations, hunter-gatherers will be taught to pursue it, right? And so then their brains will slowly lose the fear of dark, unknown, rattling bushes. And that's reasonable, I think, right? So what if it's 50-50? Well, that's just it. If it's 50-50, then you will preserve within your population some amount of bravery and or stupidity, and that's exactly what we see, right? Like, it's not exactly 50-50. It's more like it is potentially there is a reward, and so therefore those who are brave enough to actually get the reward get rewarded, and those who are afraid enough to not poke for the reward don't get the reward. But if they can still continue to survive on other things, then they are fine, right? And so that this is how evolution works over a period of, let's say, this is more a social issue than it is a pure genetics issue. So let's say this is how nature and evolution works over 200 to 500 to 1,000 years. If you truly want to completely breed out a fear of the unknown out of a population, it would require, very highly specialized eugenics and like thousands of years. Honestly, like it's genuinely not worth it. That's not the point, right? Anyway, evolutionarily, blah 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 one. But obviously, dark spaces hide things, and excuse me, hide things, and hidden things are not generally friendly, right? And so that's why this is why humanity has a consistent fear of the unknown. And this doesn't exist in isolation, right? We'll talk about it later, where essentially the primary directive of fear of the unknown is to reduce accidents, but other parts of the brain, the parts of the brain that we talked about last time, about what was it that we talked about last time? Hold on. Can I open it? Hold on. Let me just turn off Obsidian for one moment. Okay, and then I'll do that, and then we'll turn Obsidian back on. And so, fantastic. So last time we talked about pursuit of happiness. Where is? Excuse me. Run, blum, 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 blum. Oh, I didn't really talk about that part, did I? All I remember was talking about getting up to run and how I miss Carl. That's not quite the same thing. Okay, so, well, essentially, how do I explain this? We'll get to this. We'll get to this. So we have the why, right? Fear of the unknown. We have the why, which is evolutionarily these things happen, and then sociologically, which is stereotypically, which is technically still part of evolution, but it's sort of social evolution. Unknown Oh, I can't fucking spell. Oh my god. Unknown dangers. Ignore the swearing. It's fine. Unknown. Yeah, exactly. Let YouTube demonetize me. No. Why does it matter to me if YouTube I don't actually think I am monetized on YouTube. At least me personally. I'm sure. I think you guys are clicking the links. Are you guys seeing ads? I don't know. If you are, I'm sorry. There are ways we can deal with that. 15:45. If you see ads on my videos on YouTube, I am kinda sorry. There are ways we can deal with that. I mean, we could post these full videos on Discord as we do with the other ones. I'll think about it. I'll discuss it with our administrators. Unknown dangers, or no, I should say stranger danger, right? And this is very, very clear. Like, when you don't know what's going on as a child, like we see this very clearly for children. When they don't know what's going on, they hide behind their parents, and we find it cute. We find we understand why, because they don't know what will happen to them, and we try to encourage them to be more outgoing while maintaining this sense of self-preservation, right? And it's difficult, but that is life. Stranger danger, blah blah. Okay, anyway, so why have we developed this fear of the unknown? Obviously it's to reduce accidents, reduce mortality, i.e. pass on more genes, right? Like, fundamentally it is very clear that the idea is, don't get into accidents, don't provoke things that might kill you so that you can live a little bit longer. And I think in general most people want to live longer, unless apparently, and never mind, I'm not going down that rabbit hole again. We can talk about assisted death, or dignified end of life choices a different day. We probably should also talk about that. So, because some of you are being a little bit interesting on that, we will talk about dignified end of life choices another day. Okay. So, the general fear of the unknown is very well explained evolutionarily and sociologically. Excuse me. And I think overall the etiology of it is sort of quite clear, right? The problem is when we get here. The problem is here, because instincts in our brain doesn't one second, unfortunate side effects. Instincts in our brain are not isolated. They work in tandem, and therefore other areas of the brain can and will recruit these instincts to serve their own purposes. And the major purpose that I want to talk about is this fear of the unknown being used to drive an action to preserve energy, right? To preserve energy, or I in my writing, yes, exactly, and the U1 Class 1 Corporation and Class 3, actually, I just saw someone from Class 3 talking about this. I call it to be lazy, right? The body wants to be lazy because instinctually we do not know when our next meal is. And that is kind of excuse me, what the fuck? There we go. Because instinctually we don't know when our next meal is, right? And that's unfortunate because it leads to basically all of these issues. Oh, I'm sorry, I saturated my microphone. Why do I'm so confused by this? Hold on. That's fine, that's fine. Attack 50, release 20. Oh, it's because I put an output gain on it. Oh, I see. Okay. That's fine. All good. Okay, so to be lazy, right? The body wants to be lazy because instinctually we do not know when our next meal is, and therefore, whenever we can, when our other instincts aren't overriding the need to be lazy, we will our laziness will do everything in its power to force us to be lazy, right? And I think if you think about it fundamentally, this kind of makes sense, right? Like if the main directive of the body is to survive, one of the key things to survival is to hold on to your energy until you need it. And in our modern society, most of the time we do not need it, right? Like, and I appreciate that most of you are not like me, right? Because obviously for me, I can work out without any issue, and like I will happily do it even without distractions, and like without putting on a bunch of videos in the background or whatever. I'm happily working out. But that's me because I've trained my body and I've trained my subconscious to enjoy this. Whereas for sort of normal folk, this is not the default state, right? The default state for the body is to be lazy because it doesn't want to use energy unless it's absolutely necessary. And so there is a war, there is a instinctual drive, I don't want to say war, between laziness and action. I've talked about this before, I feel like. I can't remember when. It doesn't matter. There's an instinctual drive between laziness and action where at any point one of them will take precedence. Well, no, not take precedence. Will be dominant and drive the body down its desired path. And oftentimes, and this is why a lot of the time, as a society, we enjoy horror movies. Horror movies tend to play with tension and release, but also drive a fear that is actionable, right? And so when we have this external drive that becomes actionable, that engages the active parts of our instinct, i.e. fight or flight responses, and you know that rush of adrenaline, and that rush of, I don't want to say adrenaline, but whatever, that rush of adrenaline is appealing and potentially addictive. And this is why people play horror movies, why people watch horror movies and play horror games, right? And I think it's self-explanatory in this case. Yes. Right. So, but when there is no external drive for action, the lazy instincts are dominant, and they push the body, and they essentially recruit. I'm getting exactly to why fear of the unknown is part of this, but I think it makes kind of sense, right? Because fear, this kind of fear from horror movies is actionable. You can choose to run. Your body will go, should I run or should I hide or should I fight? And there is that instinctive decision making that's going on there, and that uses up a lot of energy. And but that is not what fear of the unknown is. Let me get to that. And everything possible to keep the body lazy. Fear of the unknown plays a big role here. By instinctually engaging things to be fearful, but also unactionable, the body is able to keep itself in a lazy state. And this is the key here. This is absolutely 100% the key here. And there are so many repercussions to this, and I'm not going to really delve into sort of the political and sociological problems, even though, you know, I think most of you will be able to see exactly where I'm going with this, but I'm not going to talk about it today simply because we're out of time. Yeah, we're at 27 minutes. The idea is that the body wants to be lazy, and it will reinforce things that keep it lazy. And I'm not ascribing. Sorry, I shouldn't be anthropomorphizing these things, but in essence, that is the case. That the laziness circuits in our brain, in our subconscious, in our instincts, amplify and form this feedback loop with other things that keep the body in a state of laziness, of inaction. And one of those things is fear of the unknown, right? And so when we are exposed, I don't want to say that the body then goes out, that instinctually we then go out and seek things that drive fear. But obviously, fear is a powerful motivator, and instinctually we do end up trying to understand more about things that are potentially harmful, right? Which is why the old adage is that, you know, bad news sells and good news really I'm hugely paraphrasing here, but which is why that, you know, bad news is or fearful news or or Fox News, yes, exactly, sells so well because fear and anger is easily packaged in such a way that it becomes very compelling, and the body pays attention to it. And the more that we pay attention to these things, and the more that we don't really understand things, the more the body is able to keep itself in a physically lazy state. right? And that is it's all sorts of really weird and really interesting biochemistry and circuitry. And even to this day, if we wanted to really go in and look at the circuitry and stuff that I'm talking about here, is quite difficult. And this is why no, I don't want to say this is why philosophy exists. Rather, I should say this is why I think that it's so difficult to understand human psychology. It's so why so many people scoff at psychology. Why so many people essentially give up on mental health, right? And again, I'm getting completely off topic. Well, that's fine. Yes. What time are we? We're at 31 minutes. Kinsho exists to get off topic. Yes, that's basically my entire raison d'être, right? Yeah. Wait. No. Hold on. I feel like I just published this video, this short of this yesterday. I think so, right? Like, Kinsho does not drive you out into the middle of the forest for your dignitas needs. No. First of all, I don't really drive these days anymore, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I've lost the joy for driving, and I it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just do I want yeah. I mean, yes, I've lost the joy of driving. But if you're going to offer me to drive that, then yes, obviously, I will. Right? Like, let's be completely honest. Yes, right? Like, because, and I'm not going to mention the car brand because obviously that might be identifying. But there's a difference between sort of everyday cars and then cars with heritage and pedigree and stuff. And this actually, remember, there is a Patek Philippe watch that belonged to Pu Yi, who is the last emperor of China before the revolutions in the early 20th century, and that watch was on auction. I don't know if it still is. Let me just double check. Patek. Yeah. I'll let me just put it in here. What time is it? 33. It's right here. It'll be in the notes later on. But like, there is heritage, history, or heritage and the weight of history on items, right? And it's hugely pretentious for to really say this, but I believe it very much that I don't believe that some amount of soul of my boy is still like has been infused into this watch. No, that has nothing to do with this. Rather, it is the weight of history on this item, right? Being the last emperor of China, a timepiece which signifies the passage of time. The scuffs and marks on the watch that demonstrate its its longevity, right? Like all of these things together put such a weight on this watch that I I like I'll be completely honest. If there's one thing I've ever coveted in my life, it is this watch. And like I'll freely admit that that's probably not a good thing, but like when I see it, it's sort of there. It I'm completely speechless at being able to describe this, and I do apologize for that. The weight of basically Confucian heritage in this watch, right? Like this is why it makes me speechless, and why I if there's one thing I covet in this world, it is this watch, because of all its sort of historical significance, because of its symbolism. It's just covetable. Obviously, I'm not going to buy it because it's going to be hugely expensive, and I don't want to spend that much money on something like that. Obviously, I won't bid for it. Not that I can't afford it, actually. Well, you guys know that. But no, I won't bid for it. No. But anyway, we've sort of gone completely off topic. The point is, don't be afraid of the unknown. Embrace it. Try new things. Go out for a run. Wear your damn sweatpants. Give them a purpose. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, please download Firefox. Please don't do Chrome. And I shall see all of you tomorrow when we will be doing what is it? Beauty contest. That's right. That's really weird, but yes, we'll be doing that.